Hey, good morning, challengers. I hope you enjoyed your Labor Day weekend. I'm Angel, one of the coaches that are going to be guiding you through the next 30 days together for our Faith for Fitness challenge. So I wanted to be able to introduce myself and welcome you into the group and officially launch our day one for this month. So we're looking at the best yes and the anointed no as our theme for September, and I'm so excited about this personally because I know that this is an area that God has been personally calling me to pay attention to so that I can live a fuller life personally and be more effective in my day. So you might connect or resonate with some of the concepts that we have mentioned up until now about what the best yes is. If you've picked up the book already, then I applaud you. It's not required, y'all, but I think it's awesome that you have, some of you are already in chapter 4 or 5 and you've really just dove into the book. And I think that's awesome. You're going to gain an even greater insight than what if you didn't have it. But what we're going to be doing is Caroline and Shamika and myself, we're going to be sharing from the overflow with what we receive from the book to help guide you through the next 30 days and identifying what God's best yeses are for you, to help you identify your best yeses and your anointed no's, and feel empowered to make those the changes and the decisions necessary to break out of old thinking habits, old habits in particular, old patterns, ways of living up until now. So you can see how, just by me saying that, how fitness fits into the best yes and the anointed no, right? Because we know that part of God's best for my life is to live fully and abundantly and in my health and strengthen my body for a long, abundant life. To be able to fully enjoy life. I can't do that if I am not in a better state of health. If I am not purposely moving my body and feeding good foods to my body to fuel it and help it heal. Because that's what foods are meant to do. Help heal, not cause more harm and damage, right? So we're going to be, while we're practicing our new health and fitness habits with the help of our Beachbody resources, the workout, that fitness program, and the nutrition guide and Shakeology, and maybe you've also added in the performance line. Then with those resources, and as we're applying these new health and fitness habits, we're also going to be using the best yes to help us identify maybe some other areas that we know that we want to work on. So, but how sometimes there have been things, sometimes we have been caught up in these patterns of allowing other people's priorities to become to supersede or override our priorities. So many of you could look at me and say, Angel, this is not the first time that I have tried to get healthy and fit. And I say tried because you eventually gave it up for one reason or another. At some point in time, something else took precedence over your health and fitness efforts. Now, I understand life happens, and there are times where things outside of our control, we must shift our priority. But what I'm talking about is how we're living our everyday life and how we can help health and fitness be one of those priorities that helps to guide all of our decisions, right? And then beyond health and fitness, those other things that we know God has put in our heart. He's given us the passions and the desires to fulfill with the time that He's given us. to do while we are here in this earth. There are other things, everything from getting out of debt to serving in ministry to, I don't know, starting a new project or starting a new career or spending more time with our family. Whatever our things are that, Lisa helps us identify as our soul things. So these are the things that, like I said, we feel a stirring or a prompting in us that we are made for more than what we are currently doing. But we currently look around and we can't see how we will ever fit it into our schedules, because up until now, like I said, we have allowed other people's requests, other people's priorities to override and supersede our own. Well, the only way to change that, the only way we're going to suddenly, it's not about making time. It's about honoring God with the time that He's been given us. So we've got to make some different decisions. Up until now, our same patterns have established the same habit or reinforced the same habits over and over and over again, so that we continue to be in the same situation where we're making the same decisions over and over again. From what goes in our mouth, to whether or not we work out, to whether or not we spend that time with that person God is leading us to whether or not we start that new business, to whether or not we get out of debt. Whatever those things are that God is calling us to, this is the month we are focusing on them, and we are deciding that on the changes that need to be made, so that those things stop getting crowded out of our calendar. And instead of waiting for that time to do it to suddenly appear, we are instead going to be intentional this month about scheduling it in. I said scheduling. We're going to be talking about time management. We're going to be talking about making our best yes decisions with the time that we've been given. So our first assignment is to identify what is our one thing. What are our goals here? And I'm talking beyond. If you've been in a challenge with us before, you've worked out a goals worksheet. I'm not talking about that goals worksheet. We're going to do something a little bit different this month. I'm sharing a link with you to something called a push goal planner. And I want you to do the first 2 steps on there, which is to go on. Chalene Johnson's 30-day push guide is going to help us first establish or identify what our goals are. She calls it a push, and then what the priorities of life that we feel we are currently unsatisfied with, that we know we want to make changes in. And then from there, she helps us identify the actual things that the one push goal that is like a domino effect for all the other things to line up. So I'm really excited about this month. We're breaking out of the box of normal and normalcy of what we've done up until this point, introducing something new. I'm so excited about Caroline joining us this month and bringing her fresh perspective and expertise into this, because she is also a business owner and a very successful one. Shamika is a full-time career mom and still is making room for her passions on the side. And I'm just excited. I'm personally humbled to be here and to be a part of it with you. So I've talked long enough. And I wish that I could have gone live to chat with you, but I hope that you will get started with the push goal document that I'm sharing with you above, and get ready to be intentional and to follow through and apply the things that we're going to be sharing with you. So below, I want you to share, after you've worked your push goal worksheet out, what is your one thing? Share with us your key priorities and your push goal, your one thing, before we move on to Lisa's time assessment tomorrow. All right, guys, talk to you later.